All right, you know what? This video, I'm going to start with a disclaimer because when I tell you the entire universe and every lawn man in my city was against this voiceover happening, I am not exaggerating. There will be parts in this video you hear background noise that is my lawn man, the neighbor's lawn man, the neighbor across the street lawn man. Everybody's lawn decided to get mowed as soon as I sat down and tried to do this voiceover. Oh, so please don't come for me for background noise, you guys. I did my best. I was going to give up, but I'm like, you know what? No, this video has needed a voiceover for an entire week. I am not stopping now. So I hope you guys can still enjoy it. Let's get into straw charms. Let's do it. Let's do straw charms. I sat down to do a bunch of these the other day and was like, I better hit record because I've been meaning to do this and never get around to it. So let's talk basics here. We have jump rings. I use two sizes. The bigger size is the size that goes around the straw. Those are about 12 to 14 millimeter. And then I have a smaller jump rings that I use to make my chains. And you can use pretty much any size for that. I stick to 8s or 6 size jump rings. You're going to search for 8 or 6 millimeters, what I believe it is, jump rings. And I do batches of these. So on my basic cups, my chains are going to be about 6 jump rings connected to each other. I know there are cups out there that have like the screw top, so the straw comes out of the middle of the lid, and for those I can use about 10 to 12 jump rings, just depending on what size. If you're using the 8 or the 6, depends on how long you want this to hang off your straw. So once I've assembled a bunch of chains, I will start adding on my charms to the end of these. And let's talk about these. So the bat was a resin charm. You can also use enamel charms, like Scrump is an enamel charm. The baseball, I don't know what you would consider that. It's like a little mini baseball. And then I also use croc charms. And what I do is I will clip off the piece that goes onto the croc charm. And then I will put like super glue onto the back of it. And then I'll put my UV resin with glitter to cover the back of those. So once I've got all my chains assembled, just start adding on your charms, whatever matches your cup. I've got boatloads. I've got drawers full of things. There have been times I've bought a charm specifically just for one cup, nothing else. Tassels are a huge win on a cup that I just can't seem to find a charm that matches it perfectly. My jelly heart charms and different colored tassels will always come in a clutch on those. So I also, right now I'm working on the silver charms. I tend to match the colored jump rings with the corresponding charm that I'm putting on. So if the charm has a silver eye hook on it, I'm going to go ahead and use my silver chains. And then down here on the bottom left corner, you'll see I already did my pile of gold. So those charms were gold, so I went ahead and did my gold chains for those. So I already have all my croc charms ready to go, and I will use this little hand drill that I got off of Amazon, and I will just drill a hole straight through the resin, and the I guess you would consider it the silicone part, the charm goes right through both of those. And then once I have the hole drilled into the croc charm, I'm going to go ahead and open the last jump ring on the chain and slip it through the hole that I just created with the hand drill. Now to usually open my jump rings, I have a ring that slips on my finger, and it's really just called a jump ring opener. But if I find that the jump ring is hard to close, I would need to use 2 needle nose pliers. So those are the tools that I use to open and close my jump rings. The needle nose pliers and then a jump ring opener ring. It actually just slips right on your finger and has little slits in it that you can put the jump ring in and just close it really tight. And once you're assembling these and closing them up, make sure that you close them up really tight. That way they won't slip apart from each other. Now let's talk about other items that we can use to make our star charms from. One of the things that I've searched for is a cabochon, and some of them will come pre-drilled and some of them won't. So the ones that I don't have a hook in already, I'm going to go ahead and use the hand drill right in the top of these. And then I'm going to use a eyelet screw to slip right in to that hole. And here's what they look like. They have like a little, they're called eyelets or eyes. And you can search for eyelet pins, eyelet screws, eye pins, flat pins. They're all jewelry making accessories that you're going to be searching for. So it has the little eye on the top and then the bottom has a little screw. So those are the eye screws. So what I'm going to take is I'm going to hold the eye part of it and I'm going to put a little drop of super glue on the end of that just for an extra holding measure. Try to get here close to show you guys. I'm working with the tiniest pieces here. So I'm just going to drop a tiny bit of that super glue onto the screw part. And then put that right into the hole that I drilled. Slip it right in there. And make sure that my eye pin is facing the way that I want the charm to hang. And then I'll set it aside and make sure that the glue is completely cured before I put the chain on it. Now here's another item that I use. I don't use these a lot, but these are beads. This is a football bead. I couldn't find a football like the baseball I have over there as a charm, so I decided to use an actual bead and then a tassel on the end. And here's the items that I use to make a bead work. Now, some beads you're going to get the hole that goes through the top and the bottom. So you're going to need to use a pin for these. So you can, once again, you can search for the eye pin or flathead pins. I'm going to show you the difference between both of them right now. They're kind of like a needle, but one end is blunt. So it's not like a sewing needle where it's sharp on one end. So we have the flathead pin right here. You have the straight pin and the top of it is flat. But some beads, the holes are bigger or more round, so your flatheads won't always work because it slips right through the end and it won't hold a bead. If you have a bead that has the smaller hole through it, your flathead will work and you can end with that. But because the hole is bigger, I'm going to have to use an eye pin. So this one has the pin and then it has the eye on the end. And once you slip it through the bead, that won't fall through the bead and it holds on to it. So now we're going to use round nose pliers and this is going to create the eye on the other end. Once you've put the pin through the bead, you're going to have to create another eye so that your bead doesn't slip off. So this pin essentially has an eye on the top and the bottom. One part will attach to the chain and then the other part you can add either another charm or I prefer tassels on the other end of them. So you're going to grip the top of the pin really tight with your round nose pliers and just roll it up till it creates another eye. And I put it down as tight as I can against the charm. So now you have an eye on the top and an eye on the bottom. I'm going to open up my tassel, which already comes with a jump ring. And I'm going to put that on the bottom. And so essentially this is the charm that I would attach to a chain. And then that would be a straw charm. And that's something else. So you have either bees or cabochons that you can use to create unique and fun straw charms. And there's all the tools that I use. Let me clean up. Now let's talk about jump rings. You can buy this big old box off of Amazon if you so prefer. I haven't even touched the bottom two rows, which are the gunmetal and the bronze. I use a lot of black, so I only buy two sizes jump rings and blacks, and those are separate. That didn't even come with this kit. I've refilled the gold and the silver with the two size jump rings that I use all the time. So about 75% of that I didn't even use. And then I discovered something else and I decided to show you. These are options. These are colored jump rings, but they're all one size. They're all 10 millimeter. Now, if you get the colored jump rings, you need to be careful with the pliers that you use. You can either put tape on them or you can buy like the rubber dipped ones, because the color jump rings, the color comes off of them. And if you ever buy them, you'll notice that they're just like a little bit of a cheaper material, I guess. I don't really like to use these. I figured I would get a pack. You can see it's all pretty much full. But I like to buy a pack and just see what's out there. So I'm going to assemble a green one for you guys to see here. I don't really use the 10 millimeter to slip over my straw. They'll go over a basic straw, like a smaller straw, but I use different shaped straws. Like I have heart silicone straws, I have like boba straws, I have silicone straws that are wider, and my 10 millimeter rings don't slip over all of those. That's why I say stick to your 12 or your 14. See, your 10 will fit over if you have your smaller straw. Yeah, that'll do the job. And that's, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do that. But I stick to the 12 and 14 millimeters just so that I can make a batch of straw charm chains and not have to worry about, should I put the 10 or the 12 or should I just stick to my 12 or my 14s for my straw charm attachments. But we're going to do these colored ones, and I want to show you guys the green. And if you're going to work with these, be very careful. I didn't tape off my pliers. So if you handle them too much, the color will come off of them. Now this pack is all 10 millimeter size jump rings. So here's something else I discovered. I'm going to show you this right here. These are adjustable silicone rings, and they're the rings that you put on the end of your eyeglass chains. So once you take the adjustable part of it off and you got yourself a silicone ring that'll fit over your boba straws, your shape straws, any straw you got. And I got a pack of those that I could use because I couldn't find a 12 or a 14 millimeter size jump rings. So those will attach on the end. And there you go. You got your straw charm chain. And see, it'll fit right on over. And I should have used different size straws, but I didn't, and I apologize. This is something you will have to take my word on, since I'm not able to show you. Now, the bad part of buying this package, I noticed really quickly, was the majority of these rings I can't even use. They weren't cut right. They're like half rings. They're bent. So I kind of had to pick through them. So I wouldn't recommend buying this pack. I really didn't feel like it was worth it in the long run. But if you really want color jump rings and you're willing to pick through it, I say go for it. All right, so I assembled the chain, and let's stick it on a charm, or stick a charm on it so we know what we're doing. So I took Yoda, since he's green, and went ahead and put him on there. And so the entire thing is green. So there's another option. I've really had a blast creating these and finding out what works, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I do sell your basic straw charm kits on my website if you'd like to check it out. All right, bye, yo.